Welcome to Too Deep, Hokies Under the Influence. And it is Virginia Tech. This isn't some rinky-dink-ass program.
Come on, JC.
We're going to put this old guy in the grade. We'll go over some of the stats really fast.
It's the percent.
11.
It's an 11 game.
Welcome to Too Deep, Hokies Under the Influence, a Sons of Saturday podcast. I'm your host, Pete B. I've got my co-host, Sam Jesse, here. It's only Wednesday, Sam, but it's been a busy week. We got a new coach this week. James Franklin is a Hokie. We went through it in heavy detail on Monday, but that we're not stopping there.
No.
There's more to talk about. Today was a big day in Blacksburg. He was introduced to everybody.
One of the more insider information days that we've gotten from Virginia Tech sources, which we'll talk about in this show. Really interesting, kind of the saga of James Franklin being hired. Not only that from an orange or maroon perspective, but also the national outlook on this hire, which has been one of, if not the major sports storylines nationally today.
Yeah, it really has been. Also, Virginia Tech lost to Florida State 34-14. Did I mention that yet?
That game feels like forever ago.
It does feel like a while ago. So tonight we are going to talk about Florida State, but not for a little bit. We're going to talk about the introductory press conference. We're going to talk about some of the things he said and react to them. We're going to play the voicemails because we opened up the phone lines on Monday to hear what the fans had to say about James Franklin. You're not going to want to miss that. We're going to talk a little hoops because the boys just wrapped up a game that they won. Not the prettiest game, but we are 5-0 in basketball. And if anyone cares, we will also preview Miami, talk a little bit FSU, all that kind of good stuff at the end. But make sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, give us a rating, review us, set us up for automatic downloads. All that stuff helps us out. News and notes, pick'em leaders. Zach, you have fallen. Olympus has fallen.
Oh no.
Jerry doesn't know ball has moved to number 1. So apparently Jerry does know ball. He went 10-0 this past weekend.
That's insane.
And
I hope he bet on those.
And he was 8-2 the week before. So Jerry doesn't know ball has quickly skyrocketed up. Zach is in second. Some spread in third, and I am in fourth. The difference, I am 6 wins down. There's only a couple weekends left, so it's going to be hard for me to make up ground on Jerry doesn't know ball. He really made a surge. CFB Monday, already in your feeds. We had several members of the Sons of Saturday team come on with Sam and I and break down the hire, react to it pretty much in real time. We also had Eugene Chung on the show. That interview and a cut up of all of the guys' reactions are both available on the website. If you just go to 2D or look at the podcast thing on the side, you'll find it on sonsofsaturday.com, and you can, or on the YouTube page. All the videos are there cut up for you. Playoff rankings. We don't have time to go through this, Sam, but some of the commentary on last night's CFP playoff rankings about Notre Dame and Miami specifically it was a crock.
College sports in the modern day seems to be more about who you lose to than who you beat. And it's the same for basketball and the selection committee. And it has, I think we have a lot of people making these decisions that don't really know ball at all.
Yeah, because Notre Dame and Miami are not in the same grouping. And they're looking at Miami's losses and Notre Dame's losses. And at no point did they mention that Notre Dame lost to Miami. And they have the same.
But it was a good loss, Pete. It was a good loss.
It was a good loss.
Here's the thing. If you weren't watching Akron Bowling Green last night, you don't deserve to be determining who plays for a national title. I'm serious. If you're not actually a fan of college football and you're not watching it from
all the ripple
on Tuesday
effects of those games
to game day, you need to know all 136 teams. You cannot decide the fate of this sport just by looking at a printout sheet of paper that you get when you go to a hotel ballroom. It can't happen. And it's maybe the biggest part of college football that needs to change.
It's so annoying, dude. I was locked into Western Michigan last night. They got a nice win, man. They're going to be in the championship game.
They're looking good. Hard-nosed football team. Like them. Buckley, very good running back.
Before we get to James Franklin reaction, I need a cheers from you. I didn't ask you for a cheers yet.
I mean, this is the easiest cheers that I've done all year. I mean, I saw a few different people say this, but Bill Roth and Mike Burnup elaborated on it the most in their Level 7 podcast. Maybe the biggest day in Virginia Tech athletics history since joining the ACC in
That's a good one.
2003 to 2004. Cheers.
You can see I'm doing a little water tonight. It's just been a whirlwind of me drinking. And if you saw me on Monday, you know I was doing liquor. I'm taking the night off. Sam's picking up the slack. We'll talk about his beer a little bit later.
That sounds like I don't have a problem, but it's been a whirlwind of drinking.
Dude, from Friday night on, I told you I had that event. I got super drunk on Friday, drinking too much Jameson with my buddies. But it was a good event and a good weekend, and I'm trying to try to dry it out. We got the niece coming to stay with us this weekend, so I'll be on baby duty. Got to clean up my act a little bit.
Hopefully she whips you into shape.
Yeah, that's right. National reaction to the hire. I wanted to talk about this first before we get to the presser, because I would say from all the stuff I've been listening to and taking in and reading, the reaction nationally has been overwhelmingly positive.
Yes, I think it's been home run hire. The fit makes so much sense. It's been everything from, some of the most respected analysts that you have and reporters to, T-Bob on Unnecessary Roughness, who is great, by the way. He does a very good job on that show.
Good guy, yeah.
It's a home run hire, and there's really no other way to paint it. I think the only dissenting opinion that you hear is from Penn State people, who, you're not going to go and praise your ex when she gets back with somebody. Like it's kind of a weird situation for them, I think, but something that T-Bob did a really good job, I think, elaborating on in that show today was we viewed him so much through the lens of a national championship or bust expectation for 6+ years, including the COVID year, that we really weren't able to appreciate what he was actually accomplishing. And I think because of that, it maybe tainted the perception of James Franklin, what he was doing. Are there issues? Yes, we will talk about them. We will not paint all sunshines and rainbows with this hire. I promise you. There's a lot of questions left to be answered. But for right now, it's not just a home run. It's Barry Bonds into the water.
I've literally, multiple people have said grand slam. Like multiple people have used the term, not just a home run, but a grand slam. I think Jake Crane did it when he recorded with Billy. I think he called it a grand slam. I think Josh Pate called it a grand slam.
The Cover 3 podcast guys, were just like, yeah, this is pretty crazy.
The other one might have been Pete Thamel. He might have called it a grand slam too. That terminology just kept going around. The Cover 3 was extremely complimentary, as you just said. And they talked about it in the regard of being beneficial for both parties. And that it's not just good for Virginia Tech, but it's a good fit for James Franklin. And Stephen Godfrey echoed that on the College Football Inquirer pod. Stephen Godfrey is one of my favorite college football writers. He used to do the pod with Bill Connolly years ago. He's on Split Zone Duo, but he's a great voice in college football. And I'm going to play a clip from him a little bit later in the show that I wanted to share. And I sent it to Sam earlier because it kind of touches on two different things. But yes, a lot of this could be good, not just for Tech, not just for James, but for both people. And Pate talked about the impact on the ACC that this could have.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say the most credentialed hire in ACC football history.
It's up there with the Mario hire, just because Mario had the 2 championships at Oregon, but it's more credentialed.
Mario and Mark Richt are the 2 guys that come to mind. And, for Virginia Tech to be in that realm of hiring is not something that we had on our bingo card.
Jeff Brom would be another
a couple months ago. Yeah, but I mean, this is the guy who beat Jeff Brom. Like,
I know. I
know. Let's get to the reaction line, and then we'll get to some of our stuff.
Yeah,
I want to hear what the people have to say.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say about the Pate ACC thing was that, like, this is a swing that the conference desperately needed, whether it was from us or somebody else. Like, Miami seems like they're going to be a force, at least with regard to the talent and the NIL guys that they're going to bring in year over year. Mario's always going to have that thing built up. They might bang their head against the ceiling a lot, but they're going to be good. And we're going to find out this weekend how good they
It's
are.
going to be appointment television. Like that game at Maryland next year is going to be a nationally talked about game. I don't think that game is even whispered about if Bob Chesney is your hire. No offense to Bob Chesney.
No, it's just a totally different attention, a totally different. I mean, we saw it today with the press conference and everything that went down with that. But the last thing I'll say about Pate's reaction was that he mentioned the fact that, like, 11 months ago, this guy's in the semifinal. He's a part of a top 10 team and what is a top 10 program, however you want to slice that. And now he's our coach. And there were failures this year, and Godfrey talked about those. And not everyone has talked about those this week, but some people are mentioning the fact that this year didn't go well for him. However, it's pretty massive. And to have the nation essentially saying, like, thumbs up Virginia Tech, that's nice, because there's been a lot of thumbs down Virginia Tech over the last couple of years.
Been the butt of the joke a whole lot. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let me get the voicemails going for you guys, because this should be enjoyable.
This is next to the national championship appearance, the biggest moment in Tech football history. I'm going to renew my season tickets now because I really wasn't going to. Thank you, athletic department. Thank you, BOV, for showing us that you want to take us into the next wave of the future, and let's go Hokies.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about, baby. I'm sick of the last decade not feeling like we're a big boy program. Well, you know what? That was what big boy programs do. We got it done. Where's Craig the cartoon now, baby? I just wanted to say that Virginia Tech just made the best decision in history. Go Hokies! We're winning the Natty!
I am a proud Hokie every single day, no matter what. But holy shit, today couldn't be a prouder Hokie. I'm floored. I'm shocked. I'm excited. I cannot wait. Bruce and Bud really made this happen for us. I know a lot of people did. I'm sure there were tons of people involved. But I say in Bruce and Bud, we trust. I'm so excited. I'm ready to go. Welcome, Coach Franklin.
I think this is a fantastic move for the Hokies. It means that we're finally showing effort in our Hokie program. We're finally showing that we care to win and we want to win, and I think that's great. I think the budget going along with this is going to give Franklin a lot of moves to be able to make, and I think we could win the ACC next year, and that we're going to be a real national title contender next year in the playoffs. Everyone's got to be scared. Hokies are back. Let everyone you know, because we're so back. Let's go.
I woke up this morning with the biggest smile on my face. Just having a CEO on sidelines, that's what Tech needs. We don't need somebody that's going to look the part, but actually be the part.
I haven't been this excited for Virginia Tech football since that 2016 feeling of competing, of being right there on the verge of that ACC championship with Clemson. I've been a Hokie fan all my life. My earliest memory is a 99 championship game. But just the dominance that followed, man, the Bud Foster defenses, the giant games in Lane. It feels so good to be a player again and feel like something matters again on Saturday.
Remember when Penn State was ranked number 2 in the nation? Imagine thinking then that James Franklin was going to be the next head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Pete, honestly, I was with you. I wasn't sure about him, but I started coming around and I was like, you know what? The way he recruits, the way he has won pretty much everywhere, I'm like, you know what? Why not? I honestly believe this might be the biggest big boy move that we have done as a program since Frank Beamer retired. And I am pumped. I'm excited. And let's go!
I was really starting to think these past couple years that the sport passed this program by, and maybe our ceiling was going to be the Pop-Tart Bowl or the Cheez-It Bowl every 5 years, but this completely changes that.
I can't wait to ransack the Nittany Lions locker room. Pause. But all these recruits and all of the talent up in State College, they're coming to Blacksburg, baby. Schedule a home and home now.
We got him. We got James Franklin. Only took 3 weeks of being in limbo. The record speaks for himself. He's done very well at Penn State and Vandy. Multiple 10-win seasons, multiple top 10 finishes, or at least near 6 stuff. Everyone's excited. Should be new coach. He can actually have time to recruit, evaluate the roster. That's great. Should be hyped, but I feel like I've calmed down since then, and now I've just been like, good hire. Should be good. We'll see what happens in 26.
This hire of James Franklin is pretty amazing. From a national standpoint, the optics of it are fantastic. We, quote-unquote, beat out all these other schools for Franklin. You know, could have gone to the SEC. Second of all, he's going to bring, no doubt, a lot of transfers from Penn State, recruits from Penn State. You know, they committed to them. So I think it's an immediate impact he's going to make and going 8 or 9 wins almost immediately. I wouldn't say year one, but maybe. It's not out of the question.
All I got to say is UVA fans, Tony Elliott, like Dan Hurley said, you better get us now because it's coming. It is coming. And also, shout out to Brent Pry because he could have rubbed our name in the fucking dirt, and he clearly didn't. So shout out to Brent Pry. You better get us now.
All right. Thank you guys so much for the calls. Long set of calls. I wanted to get pretty much everyone's call in there and left most of them in. I had to cut some of them down, but the excitement, the joy in people's voices, like as I was going through those this afternoon, that is when I've kind of really like felt what so many of Robert and Billy and Brett have been feeling, like just like this is going to change everything. And I have been skeptical, and someone in those calls said, like, Pete, I was with you. Like I didn't totally believe that this was a good idea, but I've come around. And at this point, it's, you know, whether you want him or not, it's this is what it is, you know. Yeah. and it feels, I think I'm jacked, dude. I am jacked, and I'm so happy that so many people are so excited about it. It really makes my heart full of joy.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. I felt like it happened so quickly that it didn't really hit me until my drive home today from work. And I texted y'all this because I watched the replay of the press conference, which was like surprisingly emotional, I think, for a lot of people. And then, you know, I listened to, you know, Bill Roth and Mike Burnham did a great job, and we'll talk about that, but they had all the movers and shakers on for quick 10-minute blurbs to really get some inside baseball on it, which we'll get to. It really felt like for the first time, Virginia Tech was playing the same sport as Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State. Like not to say that's going to be the on-field result.
Not right away. No, it's going to,
but it feels like you're playing the same sport now. Like it really didn't feel like that. I mean, Pete, I don't know. I really don't know two people who are more in the weeds on Virginia Tech football than you and I. And it didn't feel like that for a decade, at least. It really didn't. And so I feel like we don't have to play an uphill battle every single season now.
And are you even sure that we still know what it feels like?
No, I don't think we're going to know what it feels like until, gosh, like October of next year. Like, if Virginia Tech goes out there and beats VMI 59-0, like, I don't think that's the James Franklin effect. You know, like, it would be nice, but you have to. This is a play, you know, a couple of people said it. Rakovich, I believe, said it. He said, this is a 100-year move. I don't think he actually means 100 years, but he compared it to the move to the ACC, where it's like, this isn't for a 5-10-year plan. Like, this is to change the identity and trajectory of generations of your athletic department. And this hiring of James Franklin and the investment being made, he said, this is a 100-year move. Like, this is about elevating Virginia Tech to the highest level of athletic departments across the country. And I'm going to guess that he used a line similar to that when going over the proposed budget for the next 3 fiscal years for the athletic department, when he was talking to the Board of Visitors saying, hey, this is truly a rising tide lifts all boats scenario. And this is the lever that we have to pull in order for Virginia Tech to get to where we want it to be. So for me, it is a little bit indescribable. And you're right. Like maybe we don't really know how it feels until we see it on the field.
Yeah. And someone said it in the calls. It's so nice to feel like we're a player again in the sport, because
it's just nice to be included.
It's just nice to be
included. It really is.
Fuente, when we got him, there was enough of the Beamer legacy and good years hangover to like feel that way again. Like, oh man, we just won 10 games. Like, okay, it's been so long. It has been so long since we've won 7 games in a regular season. We have not won 7 games in a regular season since 2019. We haven't beat UVA and won 7 games in a regular season since 2017, right? So it's going back a long way to get us to where we should be, to the way it felt when I was in school, where every weekend felt like freaking homecoming. Like that's what it felt like on Saturday mornings. Game days were the biggest thing you could ever imagine. And for a while, they've been an afterthought. And students leave at the end of the first quarter. And it's hard to even blame them with how piss poor the product's been. This changes all that. At least it changes the idea that we're in a new neighborhood, right? Like this is like, we got downsized, we moved to the trailer park, and now we're living in a mansion. And maybe we won't be able to decorate it very well, but we're living in it for right now.
Yeah. I mean, you're playing at that higher league now. I also think it's very, very important for Virginia Tech fans to understand the synergy that needed to happen within the university for this to even be a thought. You know, like once James Franklin decided he was a candidate opening, you needed everything set up before that. And I really want people to understand this. The budget and the work that they did there and bringing in the committee and bringing Rakovich back, who was a major player in getting Virginia Tech to be that program that you just described, Pete, and getting Jay Pearson involved as much as they could and making sure Bud Foster and Bruce Arians and Eddie Royal had a voice, and all of that legwork was done well before James Franklin was even a thought to be on the market. I mean, he was playing for a natty when they got all this together. Like he was the number 2 team in the country when they were getting all this together.
Yes and no. Yeah. I would say it really started to take shape when the budget slides started to get out. And
like that, but that's what I'm saying is like
that had to start at some point.
We didn't do like the legwork wasn't done for James Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
The legwork was done. And you go and look at Jay Pearson said today that when they started the search committee, everybody brought a list of 10 names ranked 1 through 10 to the table. And he said, describe your top 10 guys and let's see what our collective list looks like. None of them had James Franklin because why would they? Once James Franklin was fired by Penn State, I'm pretty sure they did a collective ball the paper up and Kobe that thing into the trash can because it didn't matter. They said that list doesn't matter. There's one guy, there's one goal, and you do whatever you can to go get him. The word that has been continually used is relentless. And oh my goodness, they were relentless going after this guy.
They were. And we heard that about Bud, but we also heard it about Witt. I don't think Rakovich or Jay Pearson would be left out of that thought process either. So let's talk about the press conference because that was in Cassell today. Rakovich spoke, then Tim Sands, then Witt, and then James. And James thanked Witt. He mentioned the relentless thing. He said that he was honest and happy to get to know Witt Babcock throughout the process, and emphasized what you talked about, the alignment within the department, which, ask any Hokie fan, you're not so sure about that sentiment. But if James Franklin believes it,
You keep calling this guy Jeff.
I think
3
what it
weeks.
is, I think what it is, it's the JF. And so I instantly, like, I'm saying James Franklin and it just comes out. But yes,
Maybe like Jeff is his alter ego, and we'll have to find if that's a good or bad alter ego.
Do you remember when Mike Holmes said, like, isn't that the guy that produced Full House?
It is the guy who produced Full House and wrote Full House. Yep, it is.
But James Franklin emphasized that alignment. And so it's not a lie if you believe it. And I'm glad that's where we got to get this done. He also got choked up when he started to talk about Brent Pry and their relationship, like choked up right away, and said VT is a better place today than it was because of Brent Pry. And one of our callers had a very poignant comment in that Brent Pry could have, thrown us under the bus, just down in the mud. And he clearly did not do that. And in fact, he most likely did the opposite.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Pearson again had a conversation with Brett Pry and asked, like, "Hey, if we offer this guy, what are you gonna say to him?" And Brett Pry was like, "I'll tell him the truth. I'll tell him, how much I love this place. I'll tell him all the good, the bad, and the ugly." And it does seem like Brent Pry was an advocate for Virginia Tech. And we don't have any inside information on this, nor will we pretend to. But it does seem like the conversation will be had on Brent Pry being, at least for a year, somewhat involved in some capacity.
And that's wild to think about in the grand scheme of like college football and firing a coach who had a pretty embarrassing couple of weeks.
I mean, fell flat on his face pretty hard. And
yes,
it does suck because it's very clear that everyone really likes Brent Pry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame Bud Foster said this today, like, it really sucks it didn't work out on the field. I think everybody really, really wanted this to work out.
All
it just
wanted
didn't
it.
work out on the field, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it can't work out in other areas.
Yeah. And it would totally, like, whatever Franklin wants, he's going to get. If he wants Pry on staff and Pry will accept that, he'll be on staff because Franklin gets what he wants.
James Franklin's the most powerful Virginian since Woodrow Wilson at this point.
He really is. He really is, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the highest paid person in the state, the highest paid person south of Penn State, higher than maybe, well, we don't know quite yet, but he's higher paid than a lot of people on this side of the Mississippi.
We know 5-year deal, which I think we were thinking like 8-year deal earlier. So 5-year deal is a little bit shorter than what was initially rumored.
That's what we've heard. Yeah. The 5 years.
We should hear tomorrow morning. So Thursday morning, we should hear details. Which
I would say, yes, 5 years, less than I was expecting. Absolutely less than I was expecting.
I think that's a good thing. 8-year contract is a little scary.
Yeah, no, I think it is. And you know what, Sam? That gets us through what is going to probably be the end of the ACC as we know it. Doesn't mean the ACC would stop existing, but people can buy out by like 2030 in the ACC. I think that 5-year thing is for a reason.
I don't even know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow morning, Pete, so I can't think about that.
What did you think about the Coach Beamer? I called and asked for his blessing thing. Corny?
First of all, yes, corny. Of course it's corny, right? But it's one of those corny things that's like so incredibly corny that it works.
Yeah.
And I do think it goes to show like Frank Beamer is very much the godfather in Blacksburg. And you need like
I was glad to get him back from South Carolina because after Labor Day, I thought he was not ours anymore.
he saw Shapes like, I'm done with this guy. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Oh
But yeah,
my
he shed a
goodness.
tear. It looked like Frank kind of like wiped away a tear. It was a very emotional, like you said.
It
Like
was
the
really
whole like
emotional.
thing was I think it was emotional for some of the guys we know watching, people that were there. I don't know, but and James said that. Coach Franklin said that. He said, like, I'm an emotional guy. I'll cry at a TV commercial randomly. Like, that's just kind of how I am. And you can tell the man is intense.
He exudes energy. Like, he is the walking embodiment of like 4 cups of coffee before you've eaten anything. It's insane the energy that guy brings. And you can tell. I had somebody message me this morning. It was actually, I wasn't able to watch a press conference yet, but he said, it makes total sense how this guy's kicked our ass in recruiting for so long. Like, it is.
Yeah. I mean, he killed it today. I mean,
Yeah.
that I never thought he wouldn't. And I said that on Twitter. Like, there was no doubt I thought he was going to have a great day at the press conference. And it was exactly that. And people who aren't familiar with his game were blown away and are like, this guy's incredible. It is a press conference, but he is very, very good at it. I think Pry did pretty well in his intro press conference too.
They're very different personalities,
Yeah.
of course, very, very different. I think what Brent Pry lacks in maybe exuberance, he makes up for in friendliness, and you feel very warm and comfortable when Brent Pry's talking, and he's a guy you really want to root for.
Mhm.
James Franklin is more like I don't know, more like Gandalf speaking before Helm's Deep, and when he comes back and rides down the hill to save everybody with the light of, like, he has this like commanding presence when he gets in front of a microphone that Virginia Tech really has never had. That even Buzz Williams would just kind of ramble a bit, but James Franklin like is intense.
There's a little bit of like, we'll talk about this when your father gets home kind of thing to James Franklin. Like, oh, dad's home. Like, it's you're gonna get it. I think you better say hello to the man. I mean,
you better say hello to the man.
He was correcting the reporters, being like, hey David, there was another Andy. He got Andy right off the bat.
Well, that's Andy was the first kid picked on.
Andy was screwed. Yeah, he was totally screwed. No offense to Andy at all. But Ryan Cassell, our reporter who was there, asked a great question.
Great question.
I want to get to that in a minute. And he did say, hey, coach, how you doing? Hey, Ryan, blah, blah. It was good. It was a good back and forth.
That's going to be a treat.
There was a couple things I wanted to say about like just some quotes and things he touched on. He named a ton of our great players during the thing. That was a nice, playing the hits. Already started recruiting. That's what he said. 40 players on the phone already, including current recruits that are like committed. Called all the top players in the state. He mentioned Enter the Sandman. Not gonna come down on him, but I'm pretty sure I heard a "the" in there. Enter the Sandman. That's okay.
He said he's not a Metallica fan.
He's not a Metallica. He's a hip hop guy.
Fan.
Yes,
we'll get him there.
He thanked Bud Foster and talked about the coach to coach conversations. And let me put this up on the screen because we've been talking a little bit about this already. One second. Did Bud Foster and Jay Pearson get an answer from James Franklin when they flew to PA on Friday? No, but Foster was confident. In quotes, I'm not a gambler. I gambled on Saturdays for 25 years, but I told these guys, I'm putting all that in. I'm putting my career, my lake house, everything that I own, my reputation, I'm putting that on the table. That's my chips, I told them. We've just got to give this guy his time. That was my push. So what Bud is referring to there is that, like, this is the guy. This is what's going to bring us back. I'm betting on it, but he needs some time to, like, calm, like, get his mind right and make the decision.
So let's talk about that. What he was referencing there with the time was there was a verbal agreement of interest and we want to get this done and let's start talking to lawyers. That was weeks ago. Those lawyers kind of danced in circles for a while with some billable hours, as lawyers tend to do. And both sides, I think, were getting pretty frustrated. I think Virginia Tech was getting pretty frustrated with it because a lot of it seemed to be held up on the Penn State side of things.
Yeah.
It does sound like from a lawyer's perspective, they started giving each party different deadlines, and that one of those deadlines was, I think, like last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that went over too well. And that was part of the reason where we have the potentially like legendary spaghetti dinner in State College between Jay Pearson, Bud Foster, and the Franklin family at the Franklin House in State College. That was really much of a let's get the lawyers out of this. What do you need from us? Let's talk. Let's get this over the finish line. I think that is what actually ended up getting it over the finish line. All good deals are done over a plate of spaghetti.
Yeah, man.
So
that's just like this saga. Like it's been going on for 3 weeks at least. And with all of the people involved with the committee and the front office of our school, I don't even know how you say it, the upper admins with Rokovich and Sands and everybody. It's just there's so many people in the mix and lawyers and Sexton, and it just created quite the story. And here we are. Some other things he mentioned: recruiting the current players. He's here early, but the most important thing by being here early is to recruit the current guys that are already in house. They're already in campus. They already seem to like it at Virginia Tech for most of them. You want to keep them. He also said, the day I signed the contract, they're all my players. I'm going to have favorites. My favorites are high production and low maintenance. Great quote.
What a line. What
Really
a
good
line.
He said he's going to pour his heart and soul into this place. He seems super motivated, Sam, but like in an angry way. Like, you know the term humble and hungry? I'm not so sure. Like there's so much of the humble, but he is hungry. And the chip on his shoulder has never been bigger.
He's got I think that's the way to put it, like massive chip on his shoulder. I think he's very thankful and appreciative of his time in State College at Penn State. And, like he said, 12 years at a spot in college football is like a lifetime. And I think he understands that, but I think he also understands that he might have been given kind of a raw deal pretty quickly. And he doesn't seem like a guy to, not be motivated, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some of the reporters that got to ask questions were all the people you would expect. David Teal asked him about Coach Pry. And in response to that, he talked about replacing a lot of people at PSU over the years, including Pry. The advantage that the Pry relationship was that he was going to get the truth out of him. He talked a little bit about Michael Hazel, who, based on some of that commentary, kind of makes you think that Hazel will be around. And he clearly mentioned Bud in response to that as well. Witt talked about the traits they wanted in a head coach. I'm not going to read them all, but I would say, Sam, make no mistake about it, that Witt was heavily involved with this thing. Like, they were kind of leading us to believe that he wouldn't be involved because I think that concept pleased the fans, but he was involved.
Yeah, the way that I look at this is kind of twofold. From one hand, a coach needs to know that there is some stability at the athletic director. And you're not going to really hire somebody of an upper echelon, especially not someone of James Franklin's ilk, without that stability at the athletic director position. Also, from a board of visitors side, when you are enhancing a budget the way Virginia Tech is, you are not going to do that in the midst of a leadership change where you don't know exactly what you're going to get from that leader and you don't know their tendencies, and they aren't the one who came up with that budget in the first place. You don't give a Ferrari to a 17-year-old who just got their license, right? You don't do it. And that's kind of what Virginia Tech's doing here. And they're giving it to Whit Babcock. And maybe he has some accidents. Maybe he has a few speeding tickets, but it does feel like they decided stability was the way to go. And instead of Witt doing all of this on his own, let's get different voices in here who understand this process. And let's work kind of together as a team. Oh, and also let's have this war chest behind us with the ability to go out and, promise the NIL budget that James Franklin, it seems like that was one of his biggest questions that he needed confirmed from Virginia Tech. Let's make sure we have the assistant coaching pool. Let's make sure we have the facilities upgrades that are needed, which is interesting. Bud Foster mentioned like physical facilities a couple of different times today is something that he and James
Like
Franklin
new
wanted to
offices,
upgrade,
perhaps.
like new offices, kind of redesigning how they, maybe not just for glitz and glamour, but kind of designing things to get a certain feel from their players and coaches.
Maybe
to
like
kind of,
get the stink out of the walls.
yeah, but also to like represent the history, right? You know,
I get it.
I think
well, the feel big time thing, right?
yes, feel. What did he say? So it has to feel, look, and smell big time, like big time football. I understand feel. I understand look like. We should ask him what big time football smells like. What do you think big time football smells?
I think like that smell like when you go to Vegas, like in the hotel lobby.
I've never been to Vegas.
Well, even a really nice hotel or a casino or something that has that like kind of like almost like a cologne like smell. Like that is the feel of and smell of big time to me. Like that, like, that just has like, I'm about to get into something good here.
Okay. So I'm thinking like when I walk into my like freshly cleaned Marriott suite.
Yeah, something like that. And you know, like an Abercrombie smell, like that's too much.
Okay, I was thinking too much, but like you're walking past the Abercrombie, maybe on your way to like an Annie Ann's pretzel stand.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed 2013 too, Pete.
But yeah, I don't know, man. But he's right. Like when you come into our facilities as a recruit, whether it's true or not, you got to fake it till you make it. It's got to feel and look and smell big time. And I did like what he had to say there. Let's talk about Ryan's question, because I thought Ryan asked one of the best questions. He asked about his time after Penn State and how much he reflected on what had just happened. And then Coach Franklin used that opportunity to reel off all of his accomplishments, which I thought was kind of funny.
Hey man, always be selling, always be recruiting.
It didn't seem that there was like, I didn't get the sense of a ton of reflection on what had happened this season.
I don't
think he's going to just say, oh, I thought it was terrible. Like, he's just not going to do that. And nor would I really want him to like say a woe is me about this year. I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, hey, how did you reflect on like, you know, being a top 5 team and then you got fired? And not that Ryan worded it like this. He was just like, you know what I did? I won in the SEC. I won Big Ten championship. I did like he just went off on it. And dude, you're right. He's selling himself.
Yeah. He actually, to his credit, he got asked another question later on and he went back to Ryan's question to like kind of answer it better about.
Yeah, you're right. He did do that.
What he needs to do. But yeah, I think his point was, hey man, clearly I'm doing something right. Maybe it's not everything, but we're clearly doing something right. And we have a foundation. And I think what people should also understand about this guy and his record, Vanderbilt was, at the time that he got there, so egregiously bad that it was like they were winning 2 to 3 games pretty much every single year, and they weren't really competitive. And like it was 30-point losses time and time again. What you saw from Mississippi State last year was perennial in Nashville for the Vanderbilt Commodores. And he came in and he was beating Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Auburn. Like they were winning big time football games. And then he gets to Penn State. And you got to remember, that was when Penn State was on a sanction. They won 7 games in both years that they were under sanction and had limited scholarships. And then the year that they did it is the year that he won his first Big Ten title. Like a lot of his losses kind of came in not great situations. Like he was playing with 3/4 of a roster at Penn State in the very competitive Big Ten, and then was at Vanderbilt.
The reason I just took that down is because I want to, this is very linked. I had this video I wanted to play. It's a quote from Stephen Godfrey when he was on the Inquirer, maybe yesterday, or the day before.
I think this is going to be really good for him. Like I've known him for a long time, just covering him because he came up at Vandy when I was starting off at SB Nation. And so I think this is going to be really good for him. I think he's failed without question. He has failed, but I think this kind of dynamic just serves his personality so much better than the kind of just high stress politician's job that State College is. By the way, we can talk later about.
I don't think he's lost his touch. I think, I worry more about Brian Kelly not being able to take another job at a lower level and win and come back. Like, I'm not worried about James Franklin being able to win games.
Look. I don't think with Babcock had a ton of choice. I don't think there was a lot of advantage on that side of the table, but I am curious I want to know what that Q&A session was like. Like, tell me what went wrong this year and why. Where are you responsible? Like,
so in that we got two things. We got this might suit James better and his personality. And that's kind of what you were talking about, the Vandy days, and that's what made me think of it, is just like not having to be this like stuffy politician type that Godfrey said. You can loosen the collar a little bit at Virginia Tech. You can be the underdog at Virginia Tech, and you can let that come out. And that's kind of, he's a fighter. Like Franklin is, he's never not on alert, and he's always fighting. He's always chippy, and being in a place that needs to get back on the map and needs to punch up, like that's might be a better fit for him at this point in time.
Yeah, and I think it's a position where it also motivates Virginia Tech and its donors. Virginia Tech needs this investment to get back to where it's going to be. And so when you look at how he's approached recruiting in the last 24 hours, like I strongly believe, and college coaches tend to be hyperbolic, I strongly believe he has contacted as many people as he physically can. And then he was on Pat McAfee and he was on Sports Center. And, he had a conversation with former players today, I saw as well. So like this guy was busy today. He's working the phone lines. He's going all out immediately here. I don't really pay too much attention to high school recruiting now because we can go into that another time. But he is really going all in on right now, where I think it would be easy for a lot of coaches to kind of say, I'll try to keep my guys here. I'll fill in with the transfer portal and we'll start fresh next year. Not him. Like he's going hardcore right now.
He doesn't know any other way when it comes to
he doesn't know. And I feel like Blacksburg, there'll be a little bit more national attention, but not like it was at Penn State, not even close. And I think not having that national title or bust expectation will suit him well, especially when Virginia Tech loses a game or two, because that's going to happen.
And then there was the piece at the end of that quote saying like, all right, what went wrong here? Like, what did Witt ask him or whoever else was having these conversations with him? Like, what were the answers to those questions?
I think that person was Bud Foster.
Yeah.
I think the football talk was Bud Foster and Bruce Arians, mostly Bud Foster.
And I think a lot of people just say like it went sideways. Like 2025 went sideways. And Penn State probably made a little bit of a rash decision, although this had been building with them for a long time. And we all understand that.
Yeah.
On the last thing on the reflection thing was, I did like when he said he went to the ODU game. He's like, I tailgated for the first time ever. He's like, I drank a beer. He's like, I don't even know if I should say that. And I had a hot dog. Like that was funny. And I appreciated that from our angle on this podcast. I appreciated that.
Are we going to reporter hats off, podcaster hat on?
Sure.
Are we going to speculate? You don't just here, as somebody who is currently sitting,
I like to speculate
15 minutes from SB Ballard Stadium in Old Dominion. You don't just go to Norfolk.
Did he just go to talk to Ricky Ronnie, Sam?
Does he not own a cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't at Peck and Pour, which is where I was watching that game for the best wings in the state of Virginia. Shout out Peck and Pour in Norfolk.
I think he went there because it's a recruiting hotbed, and he had an idea that he might be taking the job at Virginia Tech. I think he had an idea that he'd be on camera for 3 hours, and that there's some good players on that ODU team. I think he had an idea about all of that.
Okay.
I wanted to bring up what Tim Thomas asked, because he asked him about the high school and the portal recruiting, because there was a really good line in here from him. He said, talked about developing young men, how important that is. And he talked about the transformational, not transactional line of thinking, which is, I sent you a clip of Saban saying that like less than a month ago.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
a Sabanism.
It's fantastic. And so I loved that. And he talked about building with the portal initially. Like he didn't say that outright, but he's like, in year one, we may have to go to the portal pretty heavy.
Well, you can only sign so many high school recruits, and you're going to lose way more than that anyway. So yeah, you're going to have to go pretty heavy in the portal this year. I would expect Virginia Tech to be one of the heavier portal spenders, especially at the quarterback position and the offensive line positions. I would expect Virginia Tech to make some splashes there.
So final thoughts on today and the presser. I think, one, he's intense, very intense man. Say hello to him. I think it was pretty clear Pry was selfless throughout this process. Absolutely selfless. That's something Clark said to me in a text maybe 2 weeks ago, Clark Rulin. And boy, oh boy, did that not come through over the past couple days. And getting this done now with a home game left is enormous. We're going to have over 24 recruits on campus for this Miami game. That can't happen if you hire just about anybody else.
Yeah.
And he just so happens to also have the best resume. And so today was a big win. This Saturday could be a huge win. I posted the where we sit in the recruiting thing. We were talking about it over the summer. It wasn't good then. And now we haven't had a coach for 6 weeks. We're in the basement of the ACC.
He pretty much is starting with a blank slate roster-wise, I would say. Like there are, we might do in the next couple weeks, a guys we really want to see come back type thing. We haven't been able to do it because there's been some news happening. Like, I think that list might be like 12 to 20 players. And after that, it's like, fill out the rest of your roster, dude. I don't, it is as blank slate as you could get, which also might be really good for him.
Too. I don't think that the roster is devoid of talent. I think they've played below their talent level. And boy, have we played stupid. We might talk a little bit about that during Florida State. But
Boy,
there's worthy pieces on here. Really dumb.
What is the Charlie Brown fan? Boy, are you stupid, Charlie Brown. That's how it feels, man.
That's kind of like us on the field this year. I also just think that this James Franklin thing, and we can go into this in the future, it could have a massive impact on Blacksburg. We all complain about the infrastructure of Blacksburg, the town, and there not being enough places to eat or go out and drink or anything. This could change that.
Live. Places to live.
To live.
Start with basics. Yeah. It could be huge. I think, again, rising tide that lifts all boats isn't just a saying, and this isn't just a idea to get more money to football. Like, there is a real impact on investing in your football program, not only for your university and the other athletic departments, but for the town of Blacksburg that is really, really reliant on those football Saturdays. Like, I don't think it's crazy to say that all of this investment in football has a pretty direct impact on the investment in women's basketball or the investment in baseball. I don't think it's.
Did you see the wrestling video?
I did not see the wrestling video.
He met Bo Bassett. James Franklin and Bo Bassett dapped it up. They said,
huge.
What's up?
I think it's like that stuff.
Posted it.
Matt, I mean, look at the University of Alabama, right? Tuscaloosa is a truck stop town. It's gross, right? But then once they started really investing in football and Saban came in and they started winning, not only did that town kind of blow up, admissions skyrocketed. That university went from bottom of the barrel SEC to upper third SEC academically. They built on a fantastic law school. They built on a fantastic MBA program. Like, all of that was kind of fueled by the rise in Crimson Tide football. Now, Virginia Tech academically is, much better than the University of Alabama, but there is proof of concept for that. I think it's a great point to make. It's huge.
All right, we need to do an ad read, and we got to do some basketball and some other stuff. But this has been really fun breaking down the press conference today. It was James Franklin Day in Blacksburg, and not a whole lot of room for negative vibes or negative talk. We might get to concerns.
Not going to deal with it
down the road, but for right now, we're enjoying this. You heard the voicemails; people are juiced. So let me tell you that Two Deep Hokies Under the Influence is brought to you by Jack and Coke. You can see the can on your screen. Two legends. One can, Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. It's perfectly mixed. You don't have to bring 2 bottles to the tailgate. You grab them, you throw them in the cooler. They also have Jack and Vanilla and Jack and Cherry. It's not just Jack and Coke Original anymore. You can get all 3 in the mix pack at your local grocery and convenience stores. They're always reloading. There's also, I think it's Jack Honey and Lemonade. They've got Jack and Ginger. They've got the flavored whiskeys. So they're doing a lot over at Jack Daniels, and these Jack and Cokes are delicious. So 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke, ready to drink. And when you're having those Jack and Cokes, please drink responsibly. Sam, what are you drinking?
I have a really cool one tonight, and it is somewhat festive for the Christmas season. It is the cream ale from Two Silos Brewing, Two Silos in Manassas, Virginia.
Yeah.
You can take a look at the can here. It's really cool. It's got a cow with a crown and a scepter, which is awesome. And then it's got the nice Christmassy font, and it's also got this little beehive design. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's got that like beehive going on.
When they do
Yeah, exactly. So I'll read the description out to you. It's an American cream ale infused with raw clover honey, milk sugar, orange peel, and natural vanilla flavor to create a velvety smooth, medium-bodied, and delectably delicious interpretation of this American classic. It has way more of that Christmassy flavor than I thought it would. Like the orange peel, clove, vanilla, like it hits you.
Oh man,
it's really, really good. I am not normally a cream ale fan because sometimes I'm like, oh, why does this beer kind of taste like milk? This doesn't. Like this tastes like very orange forward, very vanilla. It's like a
orange
cake
forward, huh? So it's got like that festive-y, like fruity kind of flavor. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a lot of cakes around Christmas time will have that, like the orange peel,
fruitcake,
candied orange peel, fruitcake. Yeah. Not as like deep current flavor it is fruitcake, but dude, it's really good. Two Silos always has good stuff. I have another Two Silos for the next episode that I'm excited about. 6% alcohol, 18 IBU. Really good beer if you can pick it up.
What's the name of it?
The cream ale from Two Silos.
It's just called cream ale. All right.
Just called cream ale. Straight to the point.
Two Silos is where they had been doing those Virginia Tech like meet and greets with Coach Pry and Bill Roth.
I think they got a pretty cool spot up there in Manassas.
Yeah, it's got that whole outdoor thing. That's awesome, man. I actually have never been there, but have some buddies from Manassas that have told me about it.
We'll give it a 4.
Nice.
Good stuff, Two Silos. Good stuff.
I'm not drinking tonight, so we're going to move to basketball. Like I said at the top of the show, 5-0. We have gotten wins over Charlotte and Bryant since we last spoke to you. And both of those games since St. Joe's were kind of hideous. I'm not going to lie. Like they were wins, which is good. But we'll start with the Charlotte game. As late as 8 minutes left in the game, we were only up by 1. And Charlotte's not a disaster, but that was a little bit frightening. We did separate. We did get the W. Bedford and Toby played really good games, but that was about it. Like if they didn't play the way they did, we might have lost the game. Like it was really that bad. Bedford had 21 and Toby had 18 and 15 and 3 blocks. So he had a very good stat sheet game, but the team basketball, Sam, against Charlotte, it's so disjointed.
Yeah. It feels, we'll talk about it with the Bryant game too, but mentally not totally locked in, this team. I think there was a bit of a lull. Like whenever you had that space between the Providence game and the Charlotte game, I think it was kind of natural. This team just doesn't look mentally totally locked in from the jump. And give credit to Charlotte because the reason that game was close in the second half is because they started to hit some ridiculous shots. I think they hit 3 threes in a row to like really make it a close game. and then they hit a disgusting like fadeaway step back to that. Like it was, I think they hit like 5 out of 6 shots at one point in the midway of the second half that really kept that game close. Credit to them, but not the cleanest, crispest game that the Hokies could have played.
No, and then tonight we played Bryant, and we didn't have Hansberry due to a minor injury, so that was already a little concerning. But Bryant, unlike Charlotte, they're not a good team. They're not supposed to be a good team.
No.
They're way down in Ken Palm. They don't have a good record. We won 78-61, but it was closer than the score makes it look. We were able to get a little bit of separation late, but it was tight. And even in the first half, we were down 20-17, and we went on an 11-0 run and kind of made the first half look like lipstick on a pig. Let me put this up here because Sam made this graphic. You can see the first half of the Bryant game was our lowest scoring half of the season so far. Only 32 points. Sam said on the last episode, every half has been over 40 or 40 or more.
Yeah, before tonight, the Hokies had averaged 45.25 points per half. And then you scored 32 in this half all of a sudden. And then you get back to your mean right there, a return to the mean, as they say, with 46 points in the second half. Free throw shooting was the biggest issue for the Hokies tonight, I thought. They were 2 of 8 in the first half. They were also 2 of 8 from 3 in the first half. Just a horrific 3-point and free throw shooting performance. And really, as I dig a little deeper into these stats, that was really the only issue for the Hokies. They rebounded the ball very well. They out rebounded Bryant by 14. I think they did a really good job limiting turnovers, only 10 turnovers in this game.
Yeah, but that was worse than a lot of our other games.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Bryant was a tall team.
Yeah,
Bryant had some length and some athleticism because that dude's, you're going to see that highlight from Bryant who did like a windmill alley-oop.
Yeah.
That was sick.
It was sick. And they were giving us problems. And without Hansberry, we had to lean on Gerdak, who's a true freshman, because Dorn was not getting it done.
No, not getting it done. Foul issues for him as well.
Gerdak was leading us in points most of the game or most of the second half. I think it's Toby that ended up with 18. So he finished with the lead, but Gerdak had 15, and that kid's going to be good. I mean, Gerdak was the best true big presence we had. I don't really classify Toby as a true big. I look at it as
I thought
Toby
also, I mean, he's going to put up numbers because of his athleticism. And one of the things about Toby, even at his days at VCU and now at Tech, was he plays with such a high motor as well as that athleticism. Like he doesn't take plays off. I thought the last couple games, he's mentally turned off a little bit. Not like physically, he's not walking. He doesn't look lazy or anything like that. It's just like mentally kind of turned off.
Well, are you saying before? Because I thought he was probably our best player the last 2 games.
The first half of this game, he was lost on defense. He was just standing around on offense. Like it didn't look good. And then you see him turn it on in the second half. And
he really did turn it on.
Yeah, he was getting every rebound. He was pushing the pace.
18 and 13 in this one. That's after 18 and 15 in the last one. So those are some pretty nice numbers from Toby in the whole, but I totally get what Sam is saying there.
You'd like him not to have 3 turnovers. Like this is another issue with Virginia Tech here is only 10 turnovers. That's great. 3 of them from Toby, 2 of them from Dorn. Half your turnovers are from 2 of your bigs. That can't happen.
There was a couple of nice feeds from Abdalis to Toby in this one. The alley-oop with like 7.5 minutes left was gnarly. That was fun. But Abdalis, the shooting concerns are back, right? Like that. This was a concern going into the year. He has the great game against Providence. 1 of 5 from 3 in this game, 4 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line. You brought up the free throw thing. As a team, 14 of 24 from the free throw line, not good.
Not good. Yeah, I mean, there are some shooting issues with Neo. So on the season, he's shooting 34% from 3. He's also only 61% from the free throw line. He has a phenomenal assist to turnover ratio with
Yes, he does.
29 assists to only 5 turnovers. He's been great in that and puts on 5 blocks. So he's still playing very well. I think there are some concerns with the shooting. In 5 games that we've seen, 4 of them, he has started 0 for 3 or worse from the field.
Yeah.
You need to, at the end of the day, it's a make or miss league, what they always say, and you got to make shots. And I don't think Virginia Tech's going to win many games this year where they shoot 25% from 3.
No, I mean, hopefully he's getting him out of his system now. Maybe he doesn't like the lights in Cassell at the beginning of the year. I don't know what it is, but it was a concern. It was a concern, and now it's definitely clear. Like, he was making every big time shot against Providence, but it's been a little bit lighter. And when you didn't have Bedford scoring the way he's been scoring in this one, 0 of 3 from 3 and 1 of 7 from the field. I mean, Bedford was like 61% from the field before this game. So 1 of 7 is a stark difference for him. He's been so good for us so far. I also thought Ben Hammond played a great game.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Hammond looks like a true point guard out there. Really, really
6
promising.
assists, 3 steals. His hands are everywhere. I mean, Ben Hammond is good.
Great game by Ben Hammond. Great game. Something that I think I tweeted this out or maybe texted it. I don't know. Virginia Tech's floor seems to be pretty high this year. Like, not even just compared to last year. Like, they seem to have a pretty high floor because of the depth and because of the talent. The ceiling, I feel like, is very reliant on Hansberry because of what he does as a scorer and as a defender.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when he's not on there, the ceiling of this team takes a big drop because there's no real collective 3-point shooting threat. It does feel like Tech needs to win by getting to the hoop and scoring, playing good defense, winning the boards.
And
if
he's such a
Hansberry's
presence.
and if Hansberry's not there, it really limits this team. So we'll see. I mean, they said day to day, he looked fine. He was up and cheering guys on the bench. Unfortunately, us Hokies, when it comes to basketball, we hear day to day, and his leg might be amputated. Like, we don't know. It's you never know with Tech basketball, man. You never know.
We're getting good things. Nothing bad can happen. Only good happen. And
nothing bad can happen. Only good happen.
We've got Bo Bassett. We got James Franklin. We got Neo. Like, only good happen. That's what we're on.
Here's a hot take. You ready for this hot take?
I'm ready, man.
Amani Hansberry might be a more important player in terms of wins and losses than Neo right now.
I mean, Hansberry was a 4-star transfer. He's an experienced college basketball player. Like, I don't think that's not so crazy.
I think the drop off. I mean, Gerdak played a great game tonight.
He did.
Like, the drop off in ceiling is pretty high. Now, if Neo starts hitting some shots, that changes.
It does.
Big time. Big time.
And Hansberry, when we beat Providence, like, Hansberry was a big part of that. You know, we need them both, and it's going to be great. Like, if Gerdak continues to develop and he can be relied on, him and Hansberry banging down low is going to be freaking great. Those are 2 enormous people. Now, I don't know, because Gerdak has to be a 5. So Hansberry then is a 4 and not maybe like a smaller ball 5. But I think you can make it work. And that would be awesome. There's a lot of different things you can do if Gerdak is playable in ACC play as a freshman.
Yeah, and also Jaden Shu averaging 9 points off the bench, still shooting 50% from 3. I think he's done a really good job.
Yeah,
he seems to really be in his role.
A nice 3 in this one. He had some good plays. Let's talk a little FSU, Sam. As far as the I don't know what we're doing here. As far as the depth chart injury update goes, Donovan Green no longer on the team. We hardly knew ye.
If I hadn't fallen asleep, we would have caught the ball, and we would have won.
Oh my gosh!
If you don't know, it's from Meet the Robinsons, and yeah.
So no more Donovan Green. The recap of the game: no score through 1 quarter. Florida State missed a field goal in a ball don't lie situation. But they would go on to score on their next 6 drives in a row. We did hold a 7-3 lead for like 2 minutes in the second quarter. But after 2 touchdowns by Florida State In the third, it seemed out of reach with the way our offense was playing. We would add another touchdown in the fourth on the pass to the other green to make it 24-14. But even after that touchdown, it wasn't like, oh, we might be in a comeback. No, it never felt like we were going to get it close. And they tacked on 10 more points, and it ended 34-14. Good for them. They keep Norvell. We get Franklin. All is well with the world.
This was the second game this season that Virginia Tech did not force a punt.
Yep. Because the first was the missed field goal, and the end of the game was the half, and every other drive they scored.
Am I out of my mind to say that this is one of, if not the worst Virginia Tech defenses of the 21st century?
It's up there with 2018. 2018 was really bad. This is up there with that. Let me play the only voicemail we got on Saturday. We got one, and I think it's from our buddy Nick.
Well, they were able to run the ball successfully, but couldn't really do anything else. Passing was limited as it has been for the majority of the season. Could not get any stops, I don't think, at all, aside from the missed field goal, which is a blessing. And there was some just bad penalties, of course, like always. So I think this game pretty perfectly sums up this season. And we'll see what happens with this James Franklin news. I have no idea how real it is since it's been going on for 3 weeks or whatever by this point. I just want to play spoiler at the end of this year. It's for Miami or UVA. Will that happen? I don't know. But it would be fun.
All right. Thank you, Nick, for the call. Yeah, just a lone soldier out there. So I played the entire thing. He touched on some things, but the story of this game, Sam, what is it in your mind?
Virginia Tech is so bad at everything else that we are ruining maybe the best rushing attack in the country.
Yeah, you said the defense and how bad it is. It's one of our better rushing attacks on like a per play basis that we've had in this millennium.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up. Oh gosh, let me do some text searching.
I'll say it while you look. Was inept offense and endless mistakes. I mean, it was just a kick to the nuts again and again with the mistakes. Same stuff we've seen all year. On offense, we ran the ball okay. We had 238 yards on the ground, but we had 2 turnovers. We were 0 of 2 on fourth down, which is essentially 2 more turnovers. And being okay on third down, which we actually were in this game, was negated by the plotting nature of the offense.
Yes, missed field goal as well. Another roughing the passer penalty on what would have been a third down stop early in the game. Just disgusting football.
Yeah.
So I pulled up the stats here. So Virginia Tech's rushing offense is one of the best in the country. Number 6 in the country in expected points added per rush. Number 2 in the country in rushing success rate. Number 1 in the country in forcing missed tackles on running plays. Number 1. No one's better.
It's crazy.
Number 7, and this is the crazy one. Number 7 in the country in rush yards attributed to the offensive line. Number 7.
Wow.
Number 7. Virginia Tech has the 7th best run blocking offensive line in the country.
How is that possible? How are we so bad on offense?
If you look at this team running the ball, like they're getting 6 yards a pop every single run. No one else is doing that.
Yeah, what did we get in the game? I think it was like 5 point something.
I mean, Virginia Tech's
it was 5.8.
Better than Georgia, better than Texas, better than Ohio State, better than USC.
So would you subscribe? What we do? We threw it 25 times. What was the 18 times? 18 passes. Should all of those be runs?
No, because here's what's happening. Virginia Tech is doing a really good job when they have a lot of field in front of them of they're running the ball every time? Yes, but they're running it in a multitude of different ways. They're running off tackle, they're running inside zone, they're running power, they're running speed option, they're running read option. Like they're doing a different run play every single time. When the field shrinks and there's less room to do that, and you've ran all of that eye candy already, and maybe you have to sub somebody else out because Hawkins was running well, but you can't run him 7 times in one drive. You got to bring somebody else in for fresh legs. Then it doesn't work. Like if you have 9 really good rush plays, but then you get down to the 35-yard line and you have a 3-yard gain, a 2-yard gain, and now it's 3rd and 5, you're going to have to throw the ball.
Mhm.
You have to throw the ball. But if you can't execute that throw, now you're settling for a field goal, even though that's a drive where statistically you ran the ball really, really well. And on most drives, you would have scored a touchdown when you're running the ball that well. So it's
not as
they're
simple.
running the ball well. Yeah, it's not like you can just run the ball every play because you're not going to score many points doing that. You need to be able to complement it with the play action passing and throwing the ball. And right now, like Virginia Tech's, like they don't have a quarterback who can throw. They don't have receivers who can run routes and get open. They don't have an offensive line who can pass protect. And defenses aren't really scared of it. So they're able to get pretty good pass rush at the same time because they feel like if they get pressure on Kyron Drones, he's not going to hurt them too much.
At some point or another, I get you're kind of like going down with the ship at this point, but like, why not Pop Watson? Like, just why not at the end of that game when it's just, or like, because you can't just say you wanted to do it for UVA. Like, you probably got to give him a try against Miami before you do that. And like,
if he wins that game against UVA, he has legendary status in Blacksburg.
I'm so annoyed that we were watching the game on Saturday and my wife goes, Kyron Drones is still your quarterback? Are you kidding me? Like that was exactly how
I will
said it.
say 2 things. One, I agree that they need to play Pop Watson some. Like they need to. They just give the kid some run.
Give him some time. Yeah.
Second, part of the reason why Virginia Tech's rushing numbers look so good is because of Kyron Drones. Like one of their best plays right now is sending everyone deep and then letting Kyron scramble for 8-10 yards.
Yeah.
And he needs a lot of credit for that because he's putting his body on the line. He is out there, like he's not sliding anymore. He's taking hits. He's running hard. I think it's just kind of unfortunate that they don't have a defense to be able to complement this. Like I think if Virginia Tech's defense was playing even at a mediocre clip, Virginia Tech probably has 2 or 3 more wins. It's just the field position is so bad. They're always down in games. They're always playing catch up. Special teams sucks. Like it's so bad, and I'm sorry, but like John Love's missed his last 2 from 50 plus. Maybe it doesn't work that well anymore.
I really thought the one was going in the other day, and it was short, which I was surprised about. Deuce Robinson, as far as the defense went off 134 on just 6 catches. I knew he was going to be scary, and he did exactly what I thought he'd do. So the thing about Pop, though, with the running, like Pop can run too. It's a different type of running, but he's got legs.
Yeah, the Pop running against a 9-man box is going to look a lot different than we imagine it, I think.
Right, but Pop can actually throw a little bit. Maybe if he doesn't have any time, he can't. I get it all. I just like it'd be nice to see something else. At least show us that it doesn't work. Because this isn't working either.
No, it's all fair. It's all fair. Like there's no what are you gonna do? Lose the game?
Right. Like we're 3-7, and it was the offense is totally like there's no hope. Like it just feels like there's no hope at times.
Yeah. And it does suck because I think Marcellus Hawkins is really good.
Good
back. I think some of these like Kyle Altuner looks really good out there too at center.
He's good
for a freshman. He looks.
Doesn't he get the penalty calls a lot? Doesn't he?
No, that was in the last game. It was.
I think Altuner's had some rough moments. I think he's had some rough moments. But he's a redshirt freshman, so like I'll forgive Altuner. There's who's the other redshirt freshman that was struggling? The big kid, Lynch. He was
Yeah,
struggling.
oh yeah, Aiden Lynch has had the penalty problems lately.
He's been struggling. But that, we're playing all these young guys and we're still running the ball okay. But let's move on. But I will tell you, Roback, use code 2DVT of Roback.com. Load up your cart. You can get the polos. You can get the hoodies. Talk about it all the time. You guys know Roback. 2DVT, all one word. Get 20% off. Let's talk Miami, Sam, if you're ready. And we'll close this thing out. This is a rematch of that epic game last year that came down to the Hail Mary, which was called a touchdown, and they had zero evidence to overturn it, and they overturned it anyway because the ACC office called in the favor that they wanted from Miami. And guess what Miami did? They lost to Syracuse on the last day of the season to screw you anyway. So fuck you, ACC. That game sucked, and it pissed me off, and I couldn't sleep for like an hour afterwards. They're still coached by Mario Cristobal, who has just as many coaching questions as he's always had. It's cooled off a little bit, I guess, but we saw them pop up against Louisville, against SMU in their 2 losses. We know they started off the year well. They beat Notre Dame, though they're getting no credit for it. They beat USF and they beat Florida. And now they're in this position where they are clearly, in my opinion, the best team in the ACC. If one game against anybody, you're probably going to pick Miami at this point, especially with the way Georgia Tech's defense is playing. But they still have these lapses, and we saw them twice already this year.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of unfortunate that, like, their ceiling is national title, I think. Their floor is like 5th, 6th best ACC team. And it seems like they've hit their floor at the worst times. A common thread in their losses has been miscommunication between Carson Beck and their young wide receiver core. That really hurt them against Louisville. With 2 of those interceptions were probably miscommunications, and then it hurt them against SMU as well. I don't think if you're Virginia Tech and you're looking at this matchup, like, I don't think you can bank on that happening a lot. Like, you're probably going to see a pretty good Miami offense, but there is reason to believe that Miami's offense could potentially have an off day because they've had them this year. And it hasn't really been because of the opposing defense.
Did both of their games end on an interception, basically?
Yeah, I mean, they've lost while, I mean, their 2 losses are driving in the 4th quarter with a chance to win the game against Louisville and in overtime at SMU.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously close losses, but Louisville has proven to be very mediocre. And the SMU one, I think, is excusable. They're a good team on the road. It went to overtime, but they could have put that game away towards the end, and they didn't do it. So on offense, it's definitely down from last year, but last year they were the number 1 offense in the country. So to be expected, it comes down a bit. They're 30th in yards per play, 17th in the SP plus. So on an efficiency basis, they're doing very well. Carson Beck, good season, not great season. He has 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, but he's completing 73% of his passes. Which I didn't even realize that until today. And his passer rating is significantly higher than it was last year at Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, his ceiling's really high. We've even heard some NFL scouts that I've heard on podcasts and stuff talk about how they are still high on Carson Beck. Like, the tools are there, the ability is there. Malachi Tony, wide receiver for Miami, is sensational.
Yeah, he's good, man.
One of the most explosive players in the country. Their offensive line is dominant. They are able to run the ball. They haven't been a great running team, but they also haven't been a bad running team. If they need to, they can. But this team is really reliant on Carson Beck. And I think that's like maybe the key for Virginia Tech just has to be, let's hope Miami has one of those games. Because
Mark Fletcher, their running back, hasn't played in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hasn't played since SMU. And he's their lead back typically. It's Miami. They've got stable of guys. Like Chamar Brown is second on the team in carries. He's got 5 touchdowns. Pringle had 17 attempts against NC State and went for 116. Like there's guys there. But at the beginning of the year, I thought this would be a run first team. Like lean on the offensive line, run first team. They're only 61st in yards per carry. Like they're not killing it in the run game. We've seen moments where they've kind of like gone into bully mode, but it hasn't been their thing. Like you said, they've been relying on Carson Beck, and to his credit, he's 17th in the country in pass efficiency, or at least they are as a team. He's right there. Passing the ball at a pretty high clip in terms of yards per game. But that has its drawbacks because Carson Beck, now we've seen a couple different times, will make the mistake and then blame others for the mistake.
Yeah, and even if you're right, it's not something you can do as a quarterback.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. When I look at this game and this
defense,
matchup,
do you want we'll talk
let's
about
talk defense. Let's talk defense
because defense is good this year, like way different than last year.
Very good. Yep. I mean, I'd say top 25 defense.
8 in yards per play, 12 in SP plus.
I'll take that. Yep, that's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good, and that's because of the new DC Corey Heatherman, who came over from Minnesota. He has. I mean, I knew they had guys, but he has put them together. Ruben Bain, Mesidor, those guys are menaces on the line. I think Mesidor has 6 sacks in 9 games, 2 forced fumbles. He's 4th on the team in tackles as a D lineman, 4th on the team in tackles. And you know they've got all those linebackers, Basanth, Mo Torre, who came over from Rutgers. He's been amazing for them. He leads them in tackles. But the DB room is where it's the difference, because last year their back end was awful. Keontae Scott is the name you need to familiarize yourself with. He's like a nickelback safety type, 2nd on the team in tackles, has 10 TFL as a DB, 6 hurries, 5 pass breakups, and an interception. And they've got 2 guys on the team with 3 or more interceptions also at the back end. So the secondary, that's the biggest improvement. The defense is super solid. The line scares me. It's going to be a major challenge to score on this team.
Yeah. Yeah. I said I had 2 little matchups. I actually have 3 matchups that might decide this game.
Okay.
There are 3 pretty easy. We'll start with the big picture one, field position. Virginia Tech's been awful in field position this year. Number 118th in net field position this year. Not good. Miami, very good in field position. Number 10 in the country in field position. Virginia Tech playing uphill, Miami playing downhill. Not a great combination. If you can find a way to flip that, it can kind of change some of the dynamics in this game. So need to find a way to flip field position and win that in this game. The second thing is 3rd down. Virginia Tech's defense. This is when we get advanced stats meet the eye test and they like match perfectly. Virginia Tech opponents playing Virginia Tech are averaging 7.5 yards on each 3rd down. It's like 3rd and 7.5 yards on each 3rd down attempt. So 3rd and long. That's 23rd in the country. That's a lot.
Yeah,
right?
it's a lot.
You're basically, every time the team has 3rd down, they have 3rd and long. Virginia Tech has the number 131st ranked 3rd down defense in the country.
Oh.
So that means even though it's a long ways to go, it doesn't matter because they're going to get it.
So we've been really good on 1st and 2nd down.
No, not really.
Not really. Or better, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you're not really.
Okay.
But when they do get to 3rd down, it's 3rd and long.
That's
now
good.
they're going to get it, but it is 3rd and down. Shake your keys and
there have been so many back-breaking 3rd downs, whether it's the penalties or like them throwing to a wide open receiver.
Miami's offense does a good job of like keeping it to 3rd and medium, 3rd and short. But I think that's going to be a big key in this game. And then the 3rd key in this game, maybe the most exciting. Remember when I said Virginia Tech was number 1 in forced missed tackle rate this year? Number 1. Miami's defense, for as good as they are, kind of has a tackling problem. Number 132 in missed tackles.
That's nice.
So this is a similar discrepancy, like literal polar opposites of the spectrum that we saw against NC State.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you're looking at similar tackling. Now, the opposite of that is I think Miami does other things on defense that make their defense very good. You talked about the pass rushers that they have. You talked about the havoc they can create with their defensive backs. But there is a world where Virginia Tech does get a few more explosive runs than they have. And if I'm envisioning a game plan where Virginia Tech pulls a 3-touchdown upset, it is you flip field position from where you haven't had it this year, which feels doable, right? You find a way to get off the field on third down because they're probably going to be in third and 5 to third and 10 pretty much the whole day, I would say. And then you also just run through those arm tackles. If you can do those 3 things and you shorten the game and you play good special teams and you don't commit a bunch of penalties, then I think there is a path for Virginia Tech to cover the spread.
Yeah, you need to kill clock, run the ball, you need like 4 explosive runs.
I think you would need 4 explosive runs, and you need Kyron to hit on one of those deep balls.
Yeah. And you
like,
probably
it hasn't
need
happened in a long
special
time.
teams help too.
You need a lot of things to go your way, but this is Miami, and like this is what they do.
It's Miami for the first time, like north, like in cold weather. Like they have not gone north of Dallas. I think that's what you said.
Have not gone north of Dallas.
And I want to spoil their season before Pitt spoils it because they got to go to Pittsburgh next week. This is their first play in the cold. It's a long shot to win, but if they make the mistakes, they're a immensely penalized team. They're worse than us in terms of penalties per game. They are. They are tied for 8th most penalized. I think we're like down at 15. So this could be a lot of sloppy play, a lot of penalties, but that could help us. Maybe you get one of those Carson Beck interceptions and you do all the things that Sam said. There's a path. There's a path.
There's a path.
What's the line? Do you know the line off the top?
I think it was like 16.
Oh, it's in our pick 'em. It's 16 and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the pick 'em. Let's go through some of these picks. Oklahoma, who just fresh off the Alabama win, 9.5 point favorites at home.
Oh, that's jumped. 9.5 is a lot. Mizzou's quarterback kind of sucks. I know he's a freshman. He's pretty bad. I don't think Missouri, unless Hardy goes for like 300 yards again, like he did against Mississippi State, I'm not sure Missouri scores a lot of points in this game. Give me Oklahoma at home, one of the most underrated, not underrated, but a very good home field advantage.
It's Oklahoma, a noon game. So
30 to 20.
I worry a little bit about the sloppy play, but they can win by 10. They
can win by 10.
We won't pick Tech, but it's 16 and a half underdogs at home. USC, Oregon, one of the biggest games of the weekend. 9.5 point favorites are the Ducks at home.
Ducks.
You're not going to. Oh, okay. You're not going to.
USC's offense is starting to kind of falter. The injuries are catching up to them. Their defense is better, but I think it's going to be really, really difficult for USC to stop the run in this game. I think Ducks roll.
How good has Oregon's run game been this year? It hasn't been like crazy outstanding, has it?
Give me 5 or 6 seconds.
I'm going to think about that while you look that up. Arkansas is playing at Texas. This is a little bit of a tighter line than you might think. 10.5 point favorites are the Longhorns at home.
Oregon rush offense, number 11 in the country in EPA per play.
Right now, I'm going to take USC plus 9.5.
In yards per rush, they are number 2 in the country.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. I have to think about that one. But for now, I'm taking USC in the pick 'em. Texas, 10.5. What are you doing? Arkansas.
Give me Texas. Bounce back. Bounce back. Bounce back.
One last ride on the Razorbacks?
No.
I'll take the Razorbacks.
One last ride.
One last ride. I don't know. Talon Green, still good. What last game should we pick here? They've got the Rice and North Texas game on here.
Gosh, what is that spread? Like 20?
It's 17.5.
Rice North is at Texas. Home. North
7. Rice is at home.
Rice. The Rice is at home. They're playing at Rice.
Food is at home
in Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me North Texas all day, every day.
Pressure is on North Texas. They have 2 easy games to finish the year. They got Temple next at home. Not that Temple's a bad team. It's just it's in Texas. I'll take North Texas in that one. They've got Michigan and Maryland. Maryland 13.5-point underdogs. Any thoughts there?
I don't think Maryland's very good.
No, they suck.
I think they are one of those programs right now where elite high school talent goes to die.
I mean, they have no interest in being good at football. It doesn't seem.
None.
Yeah, we don't have to pick it on here, but and last one, do you think that Utah smashes K-State?
Yeah. Utah's going to end the season. Utah is going to win the Holiday Bowl by like 30 points. And we're going to look back and be like, maybe they should have been in the playoff.
Yeah. Are you going to take Temple in those points this weekend against Tulane? Tulane's in the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Jake Retzloff, I feel like the one game I bet on him, or like the 2 games I've bet on Jake Retzloff, he's been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
The Ole Miss game and the Texas San Antonio game. So I'm not going to bet on Tulane. Because if I bet on Tulane, Jake Retzloff will be bad.
Someone was talking about JMU and Tulane, and there is a JMU like angled tweet, and they're like, if only we had picked up an extra loss to UTSA by 1,000,000 points, then maybe we'd be in the playoff.
I do feel like the playoff committee has decided it's going to be the American champion, and it doesn't matter. I will say though, like
I don't really, it's got to be closer.
If it's
than
JMU versus North Texas, JMU's resume is better.
Yeah, I mean, North Texas's schedule has not been great. Their best win's Navy right now, and it's a decent win. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. JMU has been crushing people, just crushing people, and their loss is looking worse because of Louisville. But like Tulane has a really ugly loss to Ole Miss and a really ugly loss to UTSA,
and they don't have the style points that JMU has.
They don't. They have 2 power wins. That's power conference wins. It's Duke and Northwestern. I know. I'm just saying. It's 2 power conference wins. I think that's what.
And we're big Green Wave fans here. We like
Tulane.
Fans of the Green Wave. If they're in the playoff, I'm going to root for them. You bet. But
I just think it's the ugliness in which the way they lost.
Just put JMU in there, man.
We'll see. They got to handle their business too. But that's going to do it for the pod. Thank you for listening. Did a ton of stuff as usual. I know it's too long. We're sorry. If you made it to the end of the show, I'm looking over on my table. We're getting close. Let's do turkey in the comments. Turkey. I got this 101 still sitting here from the other night. It's a total mess down here. I got notes and beer cans all over the place.
You started the show with it's been a whirlwind of drinking, and you end the show with I have a bottle of a 101 proof whiskey just sitting next to me.
It's tough over here right now, man. My wife, she can't come down here. It's too much of a mess. I got to clean this shit up. Make sure you subscribe. Sons of Saturday, 2 Deep podcast feed. Sons of Saturday on YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe. And until next time, go Hokies.